Hello students, this is Miss Dalton, and this video is over using tree diagrams. Tree diagrams is just another way to display the outcomes of a probability. So it's like Venn diagrams, but it's just using a different diagram. When you make a tree diagram, you start with one of your options and then you kind of branch off of that. So if we're going to make a tree diagram showing all the possible sandwiches for this menu up here, let's go ahead and start by listing out what kind of bread we can get. So we're going to start with that. So we can get white bread or we can get wheat bread. Now, based on what bread we choose, we also are going to choose from 3 different types of meat. So each of these bread options has a choice of ham, turkey, so I'm just going to abbreviate it, and beef. So on this, if I choose wheat, I also have a choice between ham, turkey, and beef. Okay, but then after I choose the meat, right, each meat can then choose between 4 types of cheese. So from the meat, you're going to have another branch with the 4 types of cheese. So as you can see, this can get pretty convoluted. So I'm just going to put the capital letter. So we have a choice of American cheese, we have Swiss cheese, we have provolone cheese, and we have Munster. All right, so this would be an example of a tree diagram. Notice that, like what we covered in the last unit, where you can find out the total number of options by multiplying how much you have of each topping. So we have 2 pieces of bread, we have 3 types of meat, and we have 4 types of cheese. That's going to give us a total number of options of 2 times 3, which is 6 times 4. So that's going to give us a total number of 24 options. Well, you can see that each of these branches represents one option. So I can have white bread, ham, and American cheese, or I can have white bread, ham, and Swiss cheese, and then so on and so forth. So each of these end pieces represents one option. So you can see that I've got 4 plus another 4 plus another 4, another 4, 4, and 4. That also gives me that 24. So again, the tree diagram is just another way to list out the types of options. Okay, so now let's answer some questions based on that diagram that we drew. So what is the probability that you will select a sandwich with white bread? And explain your reasoning. Okay, well, all of these over here end up with white bread as their bread, okay? Well, that's 12 out of that 24. So you have a 50% chance, or 0.50, of choosing one that has white bread. What is the probability that you will select a sandwich with American cheese? So the American cheese, I have this one, I have this one, we have this one, and here, here, and here. So that's a total of 6 out of 24, which would be a 0.25 chance, 25%. Okay, what is the probability that you will select a sandwich on wheat bread with ham and any cheese? Okay, well, here is the wheat bread, but it has to have ham and any of the cheeses, so it'd be all 4 of these. So that's going to be 4 out of 24. Which comes out to be 0.17, which is approximately 17%. What's the probability that you will select a sandwich on white bread that has either beef or turkey and has provolone cheese? So, white bread, beef or turkey, and has provolone cheese. So that's only 2 out of 24. Oops, let me switch back to a pen. 2 out of 24, which is 0.083, which would be approximately an 8% chance. Okay, and then what is the probability that you will select, let me change colors real quick. What's the probability that you will select a sandwich with neither beef nor Munster cheese? Well, okay, so neither beef nor Munster. So we need to highlight the ones that don't have beef and don't have Munster. So that would be this group here, but none of the beef ones, and then this group here, but none of those beef. So 3, 6, 9, 12. So that would be 12 out of 24, which again is going to give us a 50% chance. Okay, so a church group in Washington State sells pumpkins every year to raise money for the children of their town. This year's crop, however, produced very small pumpkins. The group decided to construct a corn maze in a field and charge customers to walk through the maze. Customers can only walk forward. If the customers end up at an exit with pumpkins, they win a pumpkin. The church group asked some students to advise it on various possibilities of a customer getting a pumpkin. Students were shown a simple maze as an example. Make a tree diagram to show the group the possible paths customers might take, entering the maze on the upper, middle, or lower path, and proceeding to an exit with or without a pumpkin. Okay, so we've got 3 different paths. We've got the upper path, we've got the middle path, and we've got the lower path. Now, from the upper path, it branches off to no pumpkins or pumpkins. If they go down the middle path, it only goes to pumpkins. The lower path has a branch that goes from no pumpkins to pumpkins. So this would be a good example of a tree diagram. All right, in this next example, it says, as president of the high school band, Katrina needs to pick a committee of 2 to accompany her each time she visits middle schools. The director told her that each committee had to consist of 1 boy and 1 girl. 5 boys and 4 girls volunteered to go. To be fair, Katrina makes a spinner with the boys' names and a spinner with the girls' names. Each time she schedules a visit, Katrina spins each spinner once to determine who goes with her. If a spinner lands on a line, she spins again. Draw a tree diagram to show all the possible combinations of volunteers who might go with Katrina. How many outcomes are in the sample space? So on the first spinner, we have these 5 boys. So I'm just going to put their initials. We've got Nathan, then we've got Spence, then we've got Zaniel, if that's how you pronounce that. We've got Will, and then we've got Xavier. Now, if she chooses Nathan, then she also, with Nathan, could be one of 4 different girls. Ave, Lauren, Pam, and Deb. Now, all of these are going to branch off to those 4 different girls. So you can see that we have 4, 8, 12, 16. We have 20 different outcomes. And honestly, this goes along with what we did in that last unit, where you just have, well, I've got 5 boys to choose from and I've got 4 girls. So remember, you just multiply that and that gives you your total number of outcomes. Are all the outcomes equally likely? What would make the outcomes not equally likely? Well, if we look back at the spinners, it looks like each of the wedges are the same exact size. So actually, yes, yes, the outcomes are equally likely. The one way that she could change it and make it to where, you know, one boy would have a better chance of getting it is to make that wedge for that boy be larger. What is the probability that Nathan will be selected? And explain your reasoning. List the possible outcomes for 2-person committees that include Nathan. Well, Nathan has a 1 out of 5 chance of getting chosen because there were 5 total boys. And so that would be a 20% chance. And we could list them all out. And so I'm going to let you do that. The last question says, if Ave decides she cannot go on a visit she's scheduled for, how does this change the probability for other boys or other girls to be selected? Well, if it's not going to change the boys' probability at all, because the boys are still going to have a 1 out of 5 shot. The girls, however, it's now going to increase their chances because they're now going to have a 1 out of 3 instead of a 1 out of 4. So write that down into your notes in the way that it makes more sense to you. All right, this last piece, create a tree diagram based on a person spinning the following spinner once and then tossing a coin. What is the probability of getting yellow on the spinner and heads on the coin? Well, on this spinner, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 spots. And in those spots only has 1 of them being yellow. So to get yellow, we have a 1 out of 12 shot. To get heads, we have a 1 out of 2. And you're always, if you have multiple probabilities, you're always going to multiply those together. So that would be a 1 out of 24 probability, which comes out to be, I'm just going to write down the percent. It's going to be about 4%. What's the probability of getting blue? Well, there's 3 blues out of a total 12. And then I also want to get heads, so 1 out of 2. So that's going to be 3 out of 24, which is about 0.125, which would be approximately 13%. Okay, what's the probability of getting red? Well, red has 5 spaces out of 12, and getting a tail. So tail would just be 1 out of 2. When I multiply those together, I get 5 out of 24, which is approximately 0.21, which would be about 21%. And then the last one, what's the probability of getting red or green? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 spots that are either red or green out of the 12. And then also flipping a tail, which would be 1 out of 2. So that would be 8 out of 24, which is about, it's a 1/3 shot. That would be 0.33 repeating, which is approximately 33%. All right, so hopefully this is helpful. This is just, again, another way to list out your outcomes and being able to find the probability.